Welcome back to the channel everyone, Nova Zane on the mic. Today we'll be talking more about pressure mix-ups but geared towards a Videl. I hope to be able to demonstrate just how strong Videl actually is and help you guys learn some things about her. Shout out to StarHero from WhisTrainingGrounds for his findings on Videl, which were used in this video. He's an amazing player that mains her, so definitely check him out for more Videl content. Now I'll go over her solo pressure in the first half of the video, then mix-ups for the rest. Timestamps will be included. Let's begin with her normals. Videl's lights are amazing and have great frame data ranging from -3, -4, -4. 5L has a good hitbox which allows it to be repeated multiple times due to its range and limited pushback. Now, understanding how to use these types of normals to set up plus frame 6Ms, space out into tricky left rights, and safely bait out options due to the spacing will level up your pressure for sure. 5LL is quite similar, but brings you back in, which serves as a great frame trap hitting 5L from far. 2L is a solid low hitting normal as well. As usual, 5L and 2L are great overload points with universal mechanics and with her other personal options like her flips, grabs, etc. So her universal staggers are pretty good and provides the user with a variety of solid rhythms from her lights. However, getting into her mediums aren't the best. 2M is -10, and even though her 2M slides, it doesn't reach the opponent at times. It's even slower from further away, and it doesn't even anti-reflect. This is fine because her other tools like her 6H, lariats, etc. anti-reflect, so you don't need to worry about it, but it is worth noting. 5M is better at -8, is faster, brings her forward, and hits high. It can be used twice by doing 5M 4M, which can help to bring you closer and to hit confirm. It also serves as another great frame trap after 5L. Once you get to her M's, you can't do much but get into Saiyaman, which we'll cover in the Saiyaman section. Videl also has great cross-ups. IEDJM is a great universal cross-up that hits point blank, which is a strong overload. Videl also has access to fake cross-ups with a same side 214M grab, which looks more like an IED than 214L. This is helpful after conditioning the cross-up JM. She can even get into double fake cross-up flips to 2L and H, although it's a lot slower but does look flashy. Saiyaman gives Videl great pressure. 5S is an amazing reset point because it's only -1 and it can act as a frame trap. -1 is a very good number because you can safely dash block 2L to see how your opponent reacts. If they mash, you'd block it. So next time you use 5S, frame trap them with 5H or her other special instead of resetting to establish respect. And it's just like a key blast, they're able to reflect afterwards, which your dash block would expose. Besides dash blocking, 5M and 5L are great to reset 5S in the corner due to their range and high hitbox. DR reset is also effective because it's a bit harder to see with Saiyaman in the way, and it's a pretty quick DR since it's after something that's -1. But there's always a gap before 5S hits. Since this is such a strong reset spot, opponents may want to preemptively reflect to avoid Saiyaman altogether. This is where simply waiting at this point in your string instead of using 5S acts as another great bait. Or this is when 2S comes in. Even if it's too slow to actually punish reflex, Saiyaman appearing as usual may trigger a delayed escape reaction. So Saiyaman's presence acts as a mini bait to bait them into engaging either to avoid Saiyaman or to take advantage of the gap. You could press the normal to punish a reflect. Just be careful since it is slower and it is only needed once regular frame traps aren't as effective, so it's not the best against antsy opponents. 2S is +23 when blocked, so continue your turn as if it was an assist. You can even get into fake super jump IED mix-ups. Another trick with Saiyaman is 5H 5S, which goes from -1 to 0 or plus when slightly delayed on block due to the spacing. You can then get into 5M more safely to reset since you have the advantage, and it can be looped where you have the choice of mixing your options whenever you want. This loop is very good at triggering mashes, which 5M punishes. They can't even jump out of it due to 5M's high hitbox. And you can decide to change it how you like, maybe 5H into nothing to bait something, 5S into nothing to bait a level 3. Or, if they're patient, start adding in IADs and grab options after the 5S. Opponents will start to understand that it's risky to let her continue pressuring without reacting, so make the most of this to win with frame traps. Saiyaman also jails into Vanish, but Vanish pressure is boring compared to what we've just discussed. Overall, as Star explains on WhisTrainingGrounds, Videl's solo pressure is very strong because there are a lot of holes in it, but you're the one who's in control of them and how opponents may engage with them. 6H is a forward moving string of 3 that is useful on reaction to reflex or as a neutral poke. It can be cancelled into 6M or any other special. 6H has 2 gaps in it that allows for reversals to come out if they're aware. But as long as the first hit connects, you can cancel it into anything, including DP on reaction to their level 3 animation or guard cancel. If you notice reflecting this often, cancelling into a heavily delayed 6M, grab, or 2-2 flip serves as a great bait. Now her 2-2x flip series crosses over. This serves as a much slower cross up that is easily punishable on reaction, but can be useful early on if they're conditioned to other options. It also steals a corner. They might block overhead but not cross up overhead in the corner since they're not expecting a cross up. However, this is best used alongside assist, which we'll explore in the Mixups section. Just be careful of using this solo. Her 214X series are grabs. This one also has a similar issue to the flips. It can be 2H'd, so most of her airborne options are 2H'able. It also only hits people standing up, so it can't be really used as an overload during her regular string, but does have its place. It's amazing to mix in with universal IAD high-low options, since seeing Videl ID up will lead to many people holding up, in which J214L can hit. J214L can also be sneaky to put in after doing JMLs for double overheads to mix in the grab instead. And as mentioned earlier, grounded 214M looks just like an IAD. In the corner, you can hold the button after using it to combo without Saiyaman knocking them down. Adding assist to set up un-2H'able left-rights can also be smart as well. Although slower, grabs are more potent than same side super dashes because even if they do successfully block the same side, it won't matter if you can't block a grab. Unless they're crouching for some reason, but they will get hit if you chose to cross up. Videl's 236 is a lariat. The first hit is always -8, but the L follow-up is an overhead that acts as a natural frame trap. It beat mashes like 2H, which then establishes respect for pressure resets. It's better to block than get hit. Once you get respect with the overhead, resetting is useful to go low to L instead of the high for tricky high-low solo mix-up, to bait out reflex and reversals that are attempted to counter, and you can even backdash into other options. The L follow-up can also be delayed, which increases her rhythm ambiguity since opponents may think you're going for a reset when they see the delay but get balked. Another faster layer is mixing in the high follow-up with J214HEX grab. As you know, her grabs only works on people who stand and loses to 2H, but they need to stand in this case to block the L follow-up that hits high and also beats 2H. So this is a quick mix-up between blocking high for the follow-up or getting grabbed. Both overhead and grab options beat each other's counters, which is why this is such a scary mix-up. On top of the grab beating reflex, this mix leads to defenders second guessing themselves. If they think they need to 2H to grab, that's when you hit them with the second overhead L follow-up. The second follow-up can also be treated as a mini reset point since there is a third follow-up that is safe on block. It's not as potent as the first follow-up since it's not a high frame trap, but still gives you backup options in case they block your solo RPS. But do not get into the 4th follow-up on block, it's unsafe and is only useful as a confirm. Doing 236L into M follow can also be useful as a cross-up flip to overload your options, so don't forget to sneak it in here and there. Adding an assist with 236L makes your high-low more safe for actual tight mix-ups. It's nothing crazy, but you can get into safe, universally strong IAD options and freestyle with that. If you call an assist plus 22M to cover the medium flip, you're plus 5 on block. You don't need that much block stun to true string into this flip. Around 30 is enough, although you can get away with leaving a gap. After they block it, you can JM after to get a falling overhead into a full combo. The mix comes in by adding an air dash for cross-up jam for a solid left-right mix. It also works in the corner, where left-rights aren't expected and thus tend to be stronger. However, guard cancel do beat this 2-2M mix if they notice you abusing it. A more potent flip mix in the corner is 236L into M plus assist to get more options. Instead of using the JM left-right mix from the plus range, you can do falling JL to hit overhead or a quick 2L low inside of the corner. These two options are very hard to tell apart. And after showing them you can take the corner, you can actually land outside of the corner and hit them there. This is accomplished by pressing JH after the flip, which allows her to slip over and stay outside. Big shout out to Star for the tech. This is a bit more advanced in case you need it, but it's super cool to mix in with the rest. This mix can be done mid-screen. It's harder to go left-right, but it's possible with some assists that lock them in place mid-screen. There can be a gap at times depending on the assist. By adding an assist with enough block stun, we can cover the gap from 2S with 5M plus assist into 2S in order to get into very strong options. This gives you a small gap in between your two assists, in which you can 2L or 5L in between this gap to cover it to prevent them from attempting to mash or stand blocking to reflect. Being able to true string this depends on the amount of block stun your first assist has. Or you can go for a very strong DR between these assists. This will surprise almost everyone, especially if you rotate it in with your 2L properly. You can even add a 6M after the first assist, which will catch many people off guard since 6Ms usually don't come after assist but before. Opponents usually look out for 6M while you have assist available, so that's how you would convert them, but this time Saiyaman combos it for you. After these three main options, you can start to add cross-up flips, and of course 2S is plus on block, so you can continue your pressure after your 2L into Saiyaman's Ki Blast to get into other options. They can't 2H your IAD here, so this is a good spot for IAD options. Overall, this is a very flexible and creative mix-up, so have fun with it. Some of these options do work mixed screen, like using a DR or substituting 2L with 2M. Another variation, instead of doing 5M plus assist, is by doing 2S plus assist. The Ki Blast will essentially add on to your first assist in order to give you a lot of block stun. This mix-up isn't as fun and creative, but it does let you go into Super Jump IAD 50/50s. After calling Saiyaman with 2S, hold the S into IAD to get Super Jump IAD, and then up to flow or down to fastball. Basically, this technique allows you to increase the block stun of assists that were chosen for other purposes beside mix and still be able to get 50/50s if you need it. Note, this is fake and can be countered, but by mixing up this and the other previous mix, you could destroy opponents for trying to engage since the previous mix is similar, but will beat attempts at disrespect. You're using the previous mix to sneak in this 50/50, since it's very hard to see the differences between the two. 2S mix also has the advantage of not placing you in the corner, unlike her other flip mix-ups. So if they end up blocking you, you won't be in as much of a disadvantage. As a bonus, remember her auto combo's third hit is a grab. With very low blocks and assist, you could time an assist with 5LLL so that it hits early enough for its block stun to run out right before your third hit. When done properly, the opponent will get grabbed if you slightly delay the third 5L. The mix here is to use the same assist timing for the grab, but instead you do 5LL to M to get the low. This is a 50-50 between tick throw grab and getting hit by the low. And that about wraps it up. As you can see, she gives a lot of room for creativity, so make sure to lap variations of these mix-up to see what else you can get with your team. Also, don't forget to have fun with it. Thank you for watching, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. See y'all next time.